Hey everybody. So yesterday and the day before that, I was working on trying to get the look at section of the camera. Um, this where it looks animated, and it was very challenging for a couple reasons. But most of the challenges revolved around TypeScript and trying to make TypeScript happy, um, because technically this is the first kind of like I did meshes and lights, and I kind of dealt with a lot of issues on those two. But it was for the same attributes. It was for the X, Y, and Z position. And then when I did the first camera, I think that went pretty smooth. But I also it was just for the X, Y, and Z. And now I'm doing the look at, and technically the code, a lot of the pieces of code that are strongly typed could easily be like it's possible that they would get um, objects to work with that don't have the attributes they're looking for. So I had to convert. The code doesn't allow that. I actually have this little lookup. I believe it's in this one that prevents that from happening. So this prevents that from happening, but the code doesn't know. The TypeScript doesn't know about this. It doesn't know that for this situation, the only thing that the user could select in the dropdown, the only thing that would show up would be cameras. Like there's no way for the TypeScript to compile that. Um, so, anyways, I had to convert a lot of things to any's, and then certain things broke and stuff like that. So, but anyways, I have that working now, and as you can see here, what we have is a camera, and it's looking at the red thing. The red ball is animated and it's moving from -3 to 3. So if we look at like the X position animations, we see that with that camera and they're matched up and they stay right in sync with each other. Um, so that's where the actual physical camera is riding along. But before it was happening this guy is at 0, 0, so it would just look at this. But now we have the look at, and as you can see, there is no mesh in there, so it doesn't have to try to calculate things for that. And there you go. So the perspective camera is moving right along with the mesh and with the camera itself. So look at is in fact animated, and that's awesome. Um, so the code. So there was also some decent changes, not nothing spectacular, in here where now we calculate the lookup speed and the X position. Since I'm using the X position twice, I have to because I'm assigning it to the camera and then I'm assigning it to the sort of descriptor item that I have. Um, um, so it made sense to make this into a variable, whereas I just calculate them in here, and it probably at some point would be better to actually make these instead of being calculated at set x, set y, and set z to be set. But anyways, I had to add this camera last look at item so that, and that's how it knows where to do that. So let me just go over that. Um, so um, the animation interface. Let me go to this view here, and then we'll start at the animation interface. So basically, okay. So the last 3 days worth of changes are haven't been pushed and committed and pushed because I felt like I needed to be able to refer to the changes while I was doing code updates. But basically, yeah, all I did in the animation interfaces was add lookAt to the interfaces since we are adding lookAt. So that makes sense. And then camera, I had to add this last lookAt number, and that's just so that I would have a reference because ThreeJS does not provide you what the current camera is looking at, the position. There's no methods or anything to find that. I believe in the service, I had to make quite a few changes. Oh no, I guess not. Um, yeah, so here I just calculate the lookup speed and the look at speed and the X position. Um, Oh, and then yeah, the X position, and then the I set the look at here. So I guess that yeah, and I calculate the wow, that's yeah, that's probably a bad name. That should be like look at LAX position. X position. And then yeah, that was kind of confusing. Calling it the X position kind of sounds like that's where you would be setting it, not the look at X position. And it is still upset about that. What is your problem, bro? Oh, there we go. Now it's happy. I am not going to hit save just so that there's something happening over here while we talk. Um, so here, all I did was add the new property into here, and then I think that's it. And that's what prevents uh, the wrong thing from showing the drop down. So right here it shows the camera, which is a mesh, and the perspective camera itself. But like for look at, since there is no meshes, it only shows the perspective camera. And then there's actually a lot of changes, and there was one new change that I want to make sure I highlight. Okay, so these are where I turned them to any's, and then this is where I basically had to sort of account for the fact that start value might not exist. So I added these these Elvis operator question marks in there, and then const 3 object any. Oh, and this is just so that when I was debugging, it would be a little easier to understand what was going on in here. So like now this is like 3 object or name. Well, name was already property name, subproperty name, current. So yeah, so current used to be this calculated value. Now it's calculated up here, type. So basically this stuff was just, oh yeah, it used to be pair item ID. Basically all I did was make that a little easier for me to understand while I was debugging. Um, basically converted that to any, same stuff. Um, now here is where I had to do like special coding. So normally I actually go to the 3 object to determine what the current position is. But since the 3 object doesn't know what the current look at is, I have to refer back to the item look at, which is what I showed us me setting over here in there in the ThreeJS service. So that's why this last position has to get set. And this code runs 60 times a second, so it's not going to be off. It really won't be off. It's where I just sent it, and then the next time the screen updates, it's going to reset it again. So that is going to be correct. Let's see, I think there was only one more change. It was probably an old change. Yeah, just the any. So I would love to figure out how to get these back to strongly typed. And I'm a little afraid I'm going to have to add some really dumb logic in there, like to say if it's this combination, do something, and then else do the exact same something. Um, but I don't know. I don't think there was any new changes in any of these. I think these were I covered in the last videos. So, anyways, I'm right at 10 minutes. I got it done. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do lookAt next. Um, or yeah, I'll probably do lookAt next, and then the lookAt, and then try to address the any situation, and see if I can get rid of those. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.